Okay, everyone, I think we'll get going, if that's okay. Welcome to the Object Matrix and Flavor Sys webinar. Just to let you all know, we are recording this event, just so it's available later. But if you've got any questions during the presentation, please do pop them in the chat window, and we will either get to them as we're going along or at the end. So my name is Mark Haberfield. I'm the sales engineer at Object Matrix. I've been here for a little over 5 years working in the support, media and sales engineer role. On the line, we also have Derek, who's the CEO of Flavor Sys.
Hi guys, Derek here. Mark, thanks for the introduction.
No worries. And also Marco, who's co-founder and product manager.
Hey folks, thanks for the introduction. Hi.
So, quick look at the agenda today. We're going to have a quick who is Object Matrix, what is a matrix store, followed by who is Flavor Sys and what is Strawberry. Then we're going to give you the main part, which is the demonstration of Strawberry and matrix store in certain workflows, and then any Q&A at the end just to go through it. So, who is Object Matrix? So, Object Matrix is a UK-based company based in Cardiff in South Wales. Been in an object storage space since 2003. My bosses founded the company back then, but they all came from EMC and helped build possibly the first object storage system out there that's still used today. They are dedicated to the media and entertainment industry market. When they first came to market, they had an object storage and an API, which back in 2003 was pretty hard to sell. So in 2009, specialized in the media and entertainment industry, and the product grew from the customers in that space. It's a leading object storage platform with global customers all over the world. Integrated with digital content governance, where you control the data itself in the best way. Lots of automation and consolidation, as well as hybrid workflows in the systems. So what is Matrix Store? Well, it's a digital content governance platform that just differentiates us from all the other storage platforms out there, in that we're more about storing, protecting and preserving the data. It's future-proof in that it's on non-proprietary hardware, it grows with your business, and it's also built into those workflows, being prepared for the AI-ready side of things, already having process in place, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and growing along with the customers, as well as having input from the media and entertainment world to ensure that the product is specialized to the market. All of our engineers can talk the media and entertainment language. If one of your customers comes to us and says, I need to talk about an XD cam card or a P2 or a specific codecs, all of our engineers will be able to answer that question because we're dedicated to that market. So, what is the Matrix Store's main features, the main points? Well, digital content governance, it's not just a storage, it's an object storage technology with the full metadata and business rule support. How many copies, how long do you lock it down, where are those copies, who's got access to those copies? They're tightly integrated into those file-based and IP workflows, specifically for the media and entertainment world, from the ingest to the parking, to the archive, to the video on demand, to the conforming on the software, on the hardware, and that full data security side of things, full audits in the system telling you who, where from, and which application they had access to the Matrix Store from. And also the idea of vaults as well. Some people call them buckets or workspaces. To us, they're vaults, but that provides the multi-tenancy side of things, as well as allowing the flexibility within the business. You decide the protection options of each vault. So you might have one vault with only one copy, whereas another vault needs 2 copies on site and another copy off site. And that's all seamlessly replicated within the system. So disaster recovery and business continuity built in, replication built into the storage, so it can push off to another storage. And the word business continuity is very important there, because it means you can get back up and running in minutes, whereas if you're on other platforms, it can sometimes take hours or days to get yourself back up and running. We got that concept of process in place as well. The idea that because we're in the media and entertainment world, we can see assets that are particular to those workflows. If we see an IMF or an AS11, AS10, we will extract the metadata on the storage where it lives. You don't have to move it to get this metadata. It also does it for XMP, as well as standard EXIF and any information we can find from the headers. Also, we have access. Well, originally we had the API, but over time that developed. And of course, we have the standard access protocols, Samba, NFS, FTP. But of course, S3 has become quite important in the last few years. We now have access via that, as well as MXFS, Matrix Store File System. That's an application you can run on Windows, Mac, or Linux, and that gives you a faster access directly to the storage, used in many workflows, and in particular in this FlavorSys workflow. And then finally, we got the Vision and DropSpot applications. One's a web browser and one's an ingest tool that give you that extra metadata handling and side of things. So it's a future-proofing scale, capacity, hardware, and the workflows. So there's all those applications again. I mentioned Samba, NFS, S3, and FTP. MXFS in the bottom right there, Vision and DropSpot. But we also have Interconnect, which is a link directly to the Avid Interplay PAM. And that gives you the option to manually archive or to automatically mirror your Interplay and all of your Avid data to the Matrix Store. That includes all the folder structures, sequences, linked assets, mob IDs, and then those can be restored to the same work group or to a different work group or a different Interplay. So that makes you a good migration model there, where you can keep DR and business continuity using that replication and the mirror of your Interplay. Move 2, HSM application, takes data from the Matrix Store. Originally, it was pushing to LTOs and ODAs, but more and more we're seeing it in the hybrid workflow, pushing to Amazon S3 and other S3 compatible storage. From there, we can control the metadata, add extra metadata to make it pushed off down to Glacier and deeper archives again, as well as the full restore process. But with the Move to application, you can also keep the proxy online, so you're still able to see the assets even though they're buried in Glacier, and decide what you want to bring back. So the last thing just to talk about is how's it deployed. It's deployed in hybrid workflows. You can have an on-premise private cloud, and you can have an off-premise private cloud, and that could just be in a co-location, or it could be Matrix Store as a Service. We currently have Matrix Store as a Service in the UK, in France, in South Africa, in Chile, and very soon in the US, 3 locations throughout. And then, of course, there's the public cloud options, the option to push into S3 or a combination of all 3, making sure your data is in the right place while using the Matrix Store applications as a single pane of glass. So with that, I'll hand over to FlavorSys and Derek, and he can give you a quick overview of their systems.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your lead in there. So, for some of you on the line here that may not know who we are, first a quick word. So, FlavorSys is a software developing company here in Berlin. We're really designed to improve the collaboration of any media production company. The way I like to put it is, we're really dedicated to improving how any production company produces their content. We're created by editors for editors. So we really put the user at the kind of focal point of everything that we do. And we're trying to make technology that they love, not just a front end that they get thrust upon them and have to use. We are a growing company, so we're still small, but we have some really prestigious customers in 22 countries. We're growing rapidly, and lots of we're very proud of customers like broadcasters, sports clubs, advertising agencies, film schools, production houses that we have in each of those countries. We're also proud to have won the 2011 IBC Broadcast Engineering Award, which was actually quite a long time ago. But you'll be impressed with how far we've come with Strawberry even since we won that award. So, go to the next slide there, please, Mark. So, what is Strawberry? Strawberry is our flagship product, and it's a project-based production asset management solution. So it's really designed all about work in progress, trying to help people to produce content. It's designed to keep productions organized and flexible. We're trying to solve typical problems that every production has with organizing their footage and managing their project workflows. Everyone knows in those kind of project workflows and the work in progress areas that chaos reigns supreme. So having the flexibility is an important thing. And part of that flexibility is the ability to work with whatever creative application you want to use. So maybe Premiere or Avid, but also maybe After Effects or Final Cut or DaVinci or Cinema 4D, and the list goes on and on. Productions are really diversifying in terms of their applications. They need to have a solution that can help with each of those, and Strawberry is kind of that glue that helps with the project workflows across all those applications. It's not just designed for the editors. The technical teams tend to really love the product as well because it helps them just establish some guardrails for use that really helps to make the production a little bit less chaotic. The last point in this slide is also one I really want to focus on because I think it's a key difference between what we do with Strawberry and like a typical man. Strawberry, through its project linking, project sharing, and file linking that we can provide, we enable companies to save significantly on their storage costs. So the storage overhead is much less in a Strawberry environment than it is in a standard kind of production environment. Those storage costs those storage savings become even more magnified when you put us in a context of, for instance, the Matrix store with Object Matrix, in that they can manage the archive. And because Strawberry makes that archive more usable, more intuitive, more user-friendly, the utilization of that archive increases, and it means that more and more content can be pushed off to less expensive storage. Mark, can you move forward, please? So some key features I want you guys to see, you're going to see in a demo in a minute from Marco. But one of the things I like to emphasize is just think of Strawberry as a kind of window to your content. It's a simple overview, easy preview function. It's not designed to be a restrictive, inflexible kind of man. It's really, think of it as more what you kind of wish Mac Finder would be, or Microsoft Windows Explorer could be. It's really a window to your content. It's also, in conjunction with Object Matrix, a window to your archived content. So like I said before, it really gives you the option of seeing, viewing, and managing and viewing archived content. The contextual search is another key feature I want you guys to keep in mind as well. Because we're all about the project, and we have that organizational layer for the projects, editors can find their content based on the project context. Having to go through and tag hundreds of raw files, rather the project-based metadata that we provide helps get you to the actual file content that you need. And if you think about that, it's much more intuitive for editors who are used to working in a project context. Speaking of empowering editors, the next 2 points I think are also very important. Obviously, we're going to talk about archival with the Matrix store, but also kind of one-click workflows. We're trying to put simple workflow management and let editors be in charge of simple workflow tasks. So things like send to playout or upload to an FTP or send or retrieve from the archive, they can do themselves. And they don't necessarily need to call a data wrangler or a media manager or an AE to do all these things for them and then wait for those things to be done. They can drive them themselves. And then also at the bottom, you'll see remote approvals and feedback and Predator. these are features that we have in Strawberry as well that are based that are browser based. So you could have producers, directors, even customers accessing your Strawberry content from the web, should you so choose, of course, and enable them to provide feedback, approvals, even markup proxies of content for quick approval, and of course doing rough cut. So from a journalist or from associate editor, we can really ease the time that's spent in the edit suite using that tool. One more slide, Mark. So then, of course, one of the key features of Strawberry is our really, really tight integration that we have with Adobe Premiere and Avid Media Composer. So yes, you can do Avid Media Composer bin locking on standard NAS storage, but also, especially in a Premiere world, we can work with things like shared projects or team projects and ensure that the access to the media is there for the users, and all of those kind of infamous media offline errors that are so common in larger Premiere production workflows those go away. Next slide, Martin. And then the kind of key thing I think as well that differentiates us as well, I want you guys to take with you in the demo, is this storage optimization and security feature. So we can manage access rights to the content. So if you have some customers out there that may be struggling with freelancer access to content and how they can restrict access, Strawberry can really help you with that. Be that integrating with LDAP for authentication, or just restricting freelancer access to content they shouldn't see. Strawberry can really help you there. You should really get a closer look. Also, with the standardization that we can provide through our template function, it really helps save a lot of time and get consistent workflows for the editors. And based on that, those time savings, you also get a lot of storage savings as well, because the editors aren't feeling the need to copy stuff all over the place. They have a consistent workflow, consistent schemes, and makes their lives a bit easier. Also, the duplication and deletion prevention. Like I said, with the linking that we do, the project sharing that we can do, you don't have to copy content back and forth. You don't have to have it a bunch of C drives bouncing back and forth in your production. Strawberry can really help you to consolidate and then link to single instances of assets, rather than having multiple copies floating around everywhere, which become really difficult to manage down the road. And of course, all of this on a storage independent architecture. So the company is free, the customer is free to pick if they want to work with EMC or Isilon today, move to something in the future. They know that the workflows that they built up with Strawberry will be future-proof and will be usable on a standard NAS that they can move to in the future. Okay. So on that note, I'm gonna hand things over to Marco Stahl, who Mark already introduced to you, but he's the product owner for Strawberry.
Thank you very much, Derek. So this is the demo part for Strawberry. I hope you can all see my screen. And if you see my screen, then what you see in front of you is the Strawberry client application. So this client app is available for Mac OS and Windows, but you can also fire up the Strawberry interface in a web browser like Google Chrome, Safari, or Firefox if you want to. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I log in with my user credentials. I'm an editor, and as Derek mentioned, it integrates with LDAP. So if you have an LDAP in place, you can simply authenticate Strawberry, or let Strawberry authenticate against this. So once we're logged in, we see a few things here. So first of all, we see the information that no project is open. And then below this, we have a search field and a list of projects. So these are all projects from very different applications like Avid, After Effects, Premiere, and so on. And as Derek mentioned earlier on, we do support all of these applications and we integrate with them. So do we only support Avid and Adobe? No, we support a wide range of applications, including, for example, Cinema 4D, and Pro Tools, etc., etc. So you can use Strawberry with all of them. So from here, you can pretty much search through all of your projects in one shot by a variety of metadata that which are associated with these projects. And you can search through all of your assets in one single shot. In the same like simple manner, basically. Strawberry has some unique features when it comes to the proxy conversion piece. So we of course support like all kinds of professional video, audio file formats, but we also support a lot of professional image formats. So for example, if I'm looking for for Photoshop files, for example, you can see that Strawberry also generates proxies from PSD files. And then when I'm hovering over these PSD files, you're getting these like layer by layer previews in here, which is pretty great for After Effects and Premiere artists. So they can basically choose from here which layer they want to import. Even if the layer is called unknown 12, which is very common, they still know that the layer is called unknown 12 and then can import it into Premiere or After Effects. And then, of course, we can search for our projects here the same way. So when I click on one of these projects here, you can see that, you know, they have certain metadata associated with them. So all of this is searchable. And what I'm going to do now is I want to create a new project and just show you how things look like in combination with Adobe Premiere. So I'm clicking here on the new button. And then once we're here, we're in the process of creating a new project, and this is where we have to provide project metadata. So this is basically the standardization and template structure that Derek was referring to. So here, for example, you can see an example drop-down menu and a few text input fields. And the whole process here is dynamic. So if I choose advertising, for example, as my industry, then I can now choose from a list of brands, for example, and then I can choose from a list of products, and so on and so on. It's highly customizable. So now when I choose sports, for example, you can see that now I can choose from a list of different like types of sports, basically, and then also from seasons. So again, all of this is customizable, and you can pretty much configure it any way you want with like any depth in here, like metadata field depth that you want. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm creating a new project, and we will call this one Matrix Strawberry. And then the last thing is we have to choose from a template. So here you can see we have templates set up for different kinds of applications, including the Creative Cloud 2019 product family, Media Composer, and Final Cut 10. So in this case, I'm choosing Creative Cloud 2019. Click Next. And now I can fill in a custom project description here, which is usually like a summary, the text summary of the project, like a synopsis or treatment. And when I click Next, I can assign the project either to individual people or I can assign it to teams. So I could, for example, say, well, the post-production team gets full read and write access to this project, while the graphics team gets view access, which means they can see all the content, but they cannot open it to modify it. So now when we hit the create button, a few things are happening. So first of all, the project gets created on the shared storage. But luckily for me as the editor, I don't have to care about this at all. This is a background operation done by Strawberry. Strawberry creates the project folder, copies the template folder, the Premiere project files, After Effects into that new project. And then what Strawberry does next, which is pretty unique, is it will mount this project here as a volume. So if we double click here, you can see that this here is my new project, and you can see there's already a lot of stuff in it, which is basically the structure that is coming from the template, including an After Effects project file and a Premiere project file. So if I would have chosen Avid, then you would see the Avid project files in here in the Avid media files folder, and then also this volume to Avid would appear as an Avid Nexus file system, so that Avid can go into bin locking mode. All right, so I'm going to close this here because the Strawberry client also recognized, okay, there's a Premiere project file. And if we select this Premiere project file and we hit yes, then Strawberry will automatically launch the Adobe Premiere application in the background and will open up the project for us. It's a super easy process, and also this can be configured for all kinds of applications. We call this feature the App Launcher, and it just fires up the applications for the editors, which is another like, how do you call it? Like, okay, I forgot about what the word was, but it really helps in terms of like comfort and flexibility. So here we are in Adobe Premiere, and as you can see, also here in Premiere we have the Strawberry Adobe extension, which basically is a plugin inside Premiere. This plugin offers you the same search capabilities, the same preview capabilities as the thick client application that is installed on my desktop. But from here, for example, I could also like go and search for any project. Like for example, I'm interested in my media library. So I'm looking for a library here that I've set up. There it is. And as you can see, like in here is a bunch of folders, and I can obviously also search inside this particular library. So I'm looking for my OM demo folder here. And in here you can see there's like a bunch of clips. And you probably noticed that a couple of these items have like this text bubble icon in the lower right corner, which means that they have annotations associated with them. So if I, for example, double click on this asset here, it's a little bit smaller, you can see that this asset has two markers. One that says Baywatch Tower right here, and the other one that says this needs to be brighter, Derek. So please go ahead. So these markers have been created in the Strawberry application. So for example, a producer was logging into the web browser, was tagging this asset, and now basically the asset is available here in Premiere as a proxy file, as you can see. But I also see the markers that have been created in Strawberry. So what I can do now is I can just select a bin here in Premiere, and I can import this individual asset. Well, let me actually go ahead, select all of these here, select the bin here in Premiere, and then hit the import button. So this takes a couple of seconds here. And then once the import is done, the high-ris versions of these assets are now available here inside my Premiere project. Let me actually have a look here. So, and as you can see, also the markers that have been created within Strawberry are now available here inside the Adobe application. So you can obviously import media files from the online production storage, but you can also import stuff from the archive. If we are looking for archive content here, for example, within the panel, I can simply say search for archive projects only. So this will only give me projects that are inside the archive. And now I can browse through the archived projects here. The high-res files are inside the Matrix store, but the proxies are still visible in Strawberry, and I can simply import archived assets right from here, which will bring them immediately into my project. Okay, so we don't have too much time for this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to quit Premiere. And then I'm closing this project here in Premiere because we just assume we are done with the editing process. Everything has been approved, which is great. So we click the close button, and now we say this is ready to archive. So we just hit the status here. This is ready to archive. So now there's a few things that can happen. So first of all, we could trigger, based on the status flag, we could trigger an automated archive operation in the background, or we simply rely on a human being to come in, log into Strawberry, and then filter projects by this particular status. And then we see, okay, this one is ready for the archive. So what we're going to do here is we right-click on this project and then say send to archive. So now we have to choose from an archive strategy. Strawberry allows you to set up basically an infinite amount of archive strategies that can point to various destinations. And as you can see, one of my archive strategies here is the Matrix Store archive. So if I choose this and I hit the yes button, then you see there's an archive animation ongoing, which indicates for the user that this process is going to the archive. And yeah. Basically now what happened is we brought the project over to the archive, and this is where my competence ends, so I have to bring it back to Object Matrix. Take it away, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Marco. That was good. Thank you. Great. Yeah, so what we've done is Marco has archived it to a local Matrix store, a small one that's over at Flavosys, and then that in itself is replicating to our Matrix Store as a service. In this particular case, it's the Matrix Store as a service we host in data centers around the UK, and this is my first portal into it. This is the Vision web browser that shows you what's on your Matrix Store as well as what's in your public cloud side of things. And it's completely customizable. You've got the option of a different background, different color schemes, different logos, different welcome messages. When you log into Matrix Store Vision, you will only see the vaults that you have access to on the left-hand side. And those vaults will have whatever content you have access to. Along the top, you've got a search bar with the ability to save specific searches. You've got a folder structure in the middle here, as well as a few icon buttons on the right here that let you upload, change your view, see your monitors, and other bits. On the right-hand side here, you can see we've got all of that metadata. This is the metadata being extracted by Process in Place, as well as the stuff that comes in via API from various locations. And it's just a great way to see your assets quite quickly and work with them remotely. So you can see here's the work that Marco was doing earlier, Matrix Store Strawberry. And in there, I can straight away see exactly the same setup, all the project folders, the After Effects file, the project file, as well as various bits in there. If I dive into the linked files, I can see all of the videos that Marco's been working on. And natively, we'll play out of the browser anything the browser supports, MP4s, MOVs, etc. But not many browsers support an MXF. So luckily, we've got the proxy already in here, already generated. And then you can download the low res or the high res, see all that information, the metadata that's been extracted. It gives you a quick, easy route into your Matrix Store when you're needing to see it in a service mode. And of course, the person who's running the looking at their assets can quickly download the entire project as a zip and work on it locally if they needed to, very quickly in that business continuity side of things. They can get the link to share with each other, as well as that option for the hybrid side of things, send it to the deep archive or restore it from the deep archive, all available from here. There is also some extra options when it comes to tagging. I can add in extra tags. Let's say that this particular one is for certain person or approved or such things. And equally, we're seeing a lot of customers use this where they will give an individual vault to an end customer so they can deliver via Matrix Store as a service and give the final vault, knowing that the other vaults are all nice and safe within the system. So that's the quick overview of the system. Let me just go back to our original slides and ask if there are any questions. Does Strawberry also work with Pro Tools? Is the question that's come up.
Hey Mark, yeah, if you can hear me, the answer to that question is yes. So a lot of our customers will actually use Strawberry as a way to integrate both audio and color grading and video editing and graphics all into the same kind of deal. But yeah, you can actually create a template based on a Pro Tools session, and you can then in that Pro Tools session, you could actually add a video editor's project to your project. And Strawberry will link all of the high-res media and structure from that project, so the audio editor can actually see the video content in progress as they're working on the audio part of the cut. So it's a pretty cool way of linking those two applications.
And Simon was also asking about the preview layers on the system. Do you want to dive into that a little bit further?
Sure. So I think I answered Simon in the chat, but just to be clear, so the proxies that Marco was showing earlier, we have they're just proxy previews. They're not designed to be offline editable proxies. It's just a preview, a visual proxy of your content. So we actually have a very broad and diverse range of formats that we support. And one of the really cool things we do is we'll actually extract the layers of a PSD file and make it searchable and scrubbable in the Strawberry front end. So you can actually scrub through the layers of that PSD file as for instance, a Premiere user. You don't have to leave the Premiere application. You can be in the extension scrubbing through the layers of your graphic so you can know exactly which layers you want to import, rather than having to jump over to Photoshop and then do a blind search to try and find both the piece of content and the layer that you want. So this is something that a lot of our creative users really fall for.
Good stuff. You've probably seen how does Strawberry work with shared projects in editing workflows? Another question there.
Yes, I can speak to this. So first of all, shared projects. The shared projects feature that was introduced with Creative Cloud 2018 is fully supported with Strawberry workflows. So basically, two people can access the same Adobe shared project from within Strawberry. And then Strawberry has logic built in to identify basically on which of these shared projects that you see inside Premiere, in which project you're currently working. So if you're importing media, for example, via the Strawberry extension within Premiere, Strawberry will make sure that it goes into the correct project on the shared storage, first of all, and then also in the correct shared project of your current Premiere view, to say so. And then, of course, things like marker synchronization, because if a lot of people are working in the same project, there's a lot of potential for collision, as you can imagine, especially metadata collision, people tagging the same stuff, for example. So Strawberry has also this incremental metadata sync logic built in that will identify which user did first, which user added markers first, for example, incrementally update its database so that the proxy marker is also updated. So yeah, if you'd like to have more information on this, or if you actually want a demo on this, because speaking about this is always a little bit abstract. But what I can assure you is that it is fully supported and that people are actually using it.
If I can add to that, Marco, one of the common things I hear about the shared Adobe shared projects or team projects is it's a great function for controlling conflicts and resolution within Premiere, but it doesn't have any media organization layer. So it doesn't ensure that all of the users actually get access to the content. So you run into a danger if you don't have something like Strawberry, where one of your users in that shared project workflow will get media offline errors because they don't physically have access to some piece of content that someone had from a local USB drive, for instance. Strawberry makes sure that doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, Tony there is asking regarding the ARRI, the RED, and the OpenEXR formats. I can tell you straight off that from Object Matrix point of view, Matrix Store is completely file agnostic, so you'd be happy to put those files straight onto a Matrix Store. How would Strawberry handle those files?
It also supports all of them. So basically, Strawberry is using an encoder pipeline that also utilizes the native ARRI and RED SDKs. So if you're ingesting ARRI files or RED files, these will also be converted into proxy. And the same is also actually true for OpenEXR. So all of these file supports are also supported by Strawberry.
And DPX as well?
Yes, DPX as well.
Good stuff. Okay, so what happens when you restore a project and re-archive with the same name? Well, the beauty of object storage is we don't care what the file name is. It'll get a completely fresh object ID, and you'd have multiple projects with the same name presented to you within Vision and several of the applications. How does that work with Flavosys?
So what we do is with Strawberry 5.6, so when a project already exists in the archive, you have the option to suffix it, meaning you can put an _1, for example, behind it. So if we see, okay, a project with the same name is already there, we will add this additional differentiator, so that when you then retrieve the project at a later point, that you're not running into any conflicts.
Good stuff. Does that answer that for you, Steve? Great. Thanks very much. Well, if there's no more questions then, I'll just have to say thank you very much for everyone who joined us. Hopefully you found this useful. Thank you to Marco and Derek for joining me on this webinar.
Thank you too, Mark.
Thanks for having us.
Do get in touch if you have any more questions or you want more demonstrations or more details. Obviously, Flavosys website and info@flavosys.com, as well as the sales@object-matrix.com email address and object-matrix.com website. Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.